Good afternoon. Let me get logged on here and we'll start talking about some things. And so if you guys are tuning in, please let me know if you can hear this. I'm thinking I have everything situated the way I need it. So welcome. So we have some movement on House Bill 3075. And so this is Measure 114 2.0. And so it's going on to the next checkpoint. And so I want to kind of touch base with you guys, get you guys up to speed. So if you guys can hear this, please let me know. And thank you for tuning in. And so this is kind of where we're at. So welcome. If you guys can hear this, please let me know. And so I just I can't stress enough how important it is to sign up for these email alerts. And so if you guys can, I'll show you how to do it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen in just a minute so I can kind of touch base and get everybody up to speed on what we're gonna do now, or what I advise we do right now to kind of be a part of this process. And so, what we're gonna do is kind of it's gonna be so thanks, Matt. Thanks for the heads up there. So what we're looking at is this thing has gone to the first checkpoint. The first checkpoint is it was at the first reading at the House desk. So it went through there, and now it was actually assigned to the Judiciary Committee. Okay, so what's probably most likely going to happen is it's going to get scheduled. The next step is going to be for a work session, because it's going to have to be cleaned up, because the way some of it is worded, a lot of some of it's outdated. If you read the bill, it's from December 8th of 2022. That's when our magazines are supposed to be quote unquote backdated to. And so it's a little bit outdated there. So I'm going to imagine that it's going to go to a work session. That's where they're going to fine tune everything. They're going to make sure everything is up to speed. And so that's going to be probably in a work session, and that's going to be in the Judiciary Committee. Okay, so that what's important to note about that, and I put a list of the committee members in that original post that I did on in the group. And so it's important that now these are the people we have them identified, and so now we have to reach out to them. We have to send emails to them. And so the way we do that, and we just talk about the fact that obviously Measure 114 still being, we're in the appellate court right now. We're waiting to find out what our fate is there. And, kind of, what I'm thinking about when I'm going to write my own personal emails to these people. And I could probably copy and paste it, and maybe just change the person that's going to be the receiver on the receiving end. I can change their name, but I probably make a template, to save myself some time, and just copy and paste, and I'll send it individually to every one of those representatives up there. And I'm going to talk about the fact that obviously Measure 114 is still in the appeals process. Okay. So we have an estimated $4 to $5 million in taxpayer funds that have been tied up in defense of this, and that's state resources that have been tied up. And the fact that they're trying to use the legislature to push House Bill 3075 into effect is kind of a violation of the judicial process, because as Oregonians, we have the right to due process. We have the right to find out if Measure 114 as it was written is constitutional on its face, right? And so there's so many questions there that we don't have answers to. And the fact that we're going to dedicate more state resources with using another bill that's just been regurgitated, and now we're going to try this process again through the legislature. I feel that it's not a good use of our resources. And be firm and be strong. But talk about the fact that these are the issues that I see as a taxpayer, as a gun owner in the state of Oregon. We have three members that I would focus on primarily, because they're going to be on our side. But the thing is, they don't have the numbers in their favor, and so that's where we have to understand that this is a numbers game for us. The way this thing works, is, they have a super majority up there in Salem, so there's little that we can really do. Okay, so that's where it's important to build bridges. That's where it's going to be important to be a part of this process the whole step of the way, because we're going to have to make sure that we get things on the record. This is all going to be attached to House Bill, 3075 as it goes through the process. Right now it's too early to submit any kind of testimony. It's too early to submit any any comments on this bill, and so this is basically the first step. The first step is going to be it's going to its assignment. It's going to be at the Judiciary Committee. One thing to think about is the impact fiscally that's going to have on the state. And so I would imagine that it would have to go to Ways and Means as well. Okay. So these are the two committees. It's going to have to probably most likely go through both of these committees before it can go to the House floor for a vote. And then, if it were to pass a floor vote, that's when it go to the Senate and we go through the process there on the Senate side. Okay. So, we have time. It's still early. It's just the first week of the Oregon legislature. And so it's important to just note kind of it's time to get spun up, and it's time to clock in and understand the fact that, if we don't do our part, we're going to lose. They have the numbers. If we don't sound rational, if we don't sound reasonable, if we don't sound educated on the subject matter that we're going to be talking about, we're going to lose. And this thing's going to go into effect. And hypothetically, we're in a position where we would either have to challenge it again in court. So we're going to be spending millions of dollars again in fighting this to keep it from going into effect. Or, worst case scenario, it's going to be an emergency clause. The governor's going to sign it into effect. And, there's a good chance we might not get a stay, that I don't know what the future holds. All I can know is right now I can be proactive by doing little bits and pieces every week to make sure that I do my part as a gun owner to fight this stuff. And, that's the only thing that I'm recommending here is it doesn't take much. Okay. It only takes a little bit of a little bit of effort every week to stay in front of this stuff. And and if we do it and we make it a habit, it's going to be easier in the long run. And that's kind of what I'm trying to kind of voice to people right now. And so you guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know this is the last thing you guys want to deal with after everything that we've been through. But this is just kind of what they do. They put stuff into place and they stack the deck against us. And we're supposed to be the ones that are supposed to abide by all these, unenforceable mandates. And, that's the unfortunate thing for us, and so I'm going to present my screen so you can kind of see what I'm seeing, and we'll talk about, what that looks like. And give me 1 second. Okay, so here we are. So this is the Judiciary Committee. These are the people that are going to be, if you can see my cursor here. So these are the people that are on the committee. Okay. So Jason Crop, he's from the Bend area. He's actually the chief sponsor of House Bill 3075. And so he is definitely not our friend. And he is one that has been very, very vocal when it comes to guns and taking away our ability to have a semi-automatic rifle. He cited the Bend situation numerous times, so he's definitely not our friend. Willie, I'm not 100% sure who this is, and I'm going to open him up and see who that is. So a District 46, so probably up north. So I'm not familiar. He must be new. I'm not familiar with this guy. I'm not going to put my money on him that he's going to be our friend. And so that's, something to be aware of there. Kim, I know her. She's she's been on our side in the past, and so she would be a good one to contact. Tom Anderson's another one that's not going to be on our side. Rick Lewis, Kevin Mannix, those are probably Ken Wallen, Rick Lewis, Kevin Mannix. Those are probably our best bets in this situation. Okay. The rest are most likely going to be in support of House Bill 3075. And so that being said, we don't have the numbers, so it's going to come down to us as gun owners being able to put on, our game face and be able to contact everybody on this committee, right? And present a case to them and just tell them that, hey, this is not a good bill for Oregon. The Measure 114 still in the appellate process. We should not be even talking about something that's similar, to Measure 114, because we're still, it hasn't even been decided. And even if, let's say that we get a ruling in our favor out of the appellate courts, it's not done yet. It's going to go to the next court. So it still has to make it all the way to the Oregon State Supreme Court. It's not even to that level yet. So it could take, it could be a year, it could be 5 years. It all depends on the timing of the courts, so it is still early in that. And the fact that we are in a long session, that's another issue for us, because now we have until July to deal with this stuff. That's another issue. And so these are all things that I would bring up in an email to all of these reps up here. Obviously, be very kind, be very respectful, be professional, because once again, all of these bills and all these emails are going up there to Salem. If you call them, be very professional. You're going to get a staffer. A staffer is going to be the gatekeeper there. And so obviously Rick Lewis is one of our friends. He's a good guy. Kevin Mannix, he's done some really good things in the past for the state of Oregon. So I would bank on those three with Kim Wallen, that they're going to be the most friendly to us as gun owners. The rest is, we're going to have to play this game of, we're going to have to play the game and play the politics and be professional. And obviously, while I support the shall not be infringed, that's not the right approach. And so that's where we have to look at it from a data standpoint. We have to look at from a revenue standpoint. We have to also look about the fact that it's still tied up in court, so now is not the time to try to reinvent the wheel here when it comes to Measure 114. And, we got to do something that's going to make that light bulb go off and say that, hey, this is not a good move for us as representatives, and it's because it's not a good move for the state of Oregon and their constituents. So if you live in any of these districts, right, it's important that if one of these people is your rep, they should be hearing from you. Okay. You should be saying, so in the body of your email, the title, you're going to say House Bill 3075, and you're going to explain, I'm going to use Kim Wallen for an example. If Kim Wallen's my representative, I'm going to say, dear Representative Kim Wallen, I'm one of your constituents. I'm writing you in response to House Bill 3075. And I believe that this is a bad bill for Oregon, and then lay out those facts. Okay. And I use her as an example, and I'm just using my words as an example. Tailor your message the way you see fit, but obviously send the message. Okay. We're going to lose if we don't get involved. And I know it's the last thing we want to do is play this game. But it's something that if we're silent and we're complacent and we don't get involved and we're apathetic, it's all going to go away. And we don't know what the future holds with the appellate courts. And this is, in reality, this is the only thing that we can control right now, is our ability to get involved with the process and send emails. Okay. And then if it goes to the next checkpoint, we do another round of emails. And then once it gets to the point where there's public comment section, that's when we bombard them, and we have to outwork the other side. And when it's time for public testimony, that's where we have to sign up. If there's a floor vote, that's where we have to be there inside the building up there in the mezzanine, and be a part of this and put a face to Oregon gun owners like we've did in the past. And we did that last year. And you could say, yeah, we didn't necessarily win, but we had a good showing, and we made some really important moves, and we weren't silent, so that was good. We actually had more people there than the other side, in the red shirts, so that was great. So there's some things that we can celebrate, and I don't want to focus on the negative. I want to take bits and pieces that I've learned in the past and see how I can string them together to turn them into a victory today or tomorrow or at the end of this session. So I'm not going to dwell on the past. I'm going to focus on what went well and what didn't go well, and see what we can do to improve and to move forward and get better at this. Okay. So just a heads up. Okay. So looks like the first meeting is going to be Monday at 3 p.m. Okay. So I don't know. That's the regular meeting time there is. So hearing room F, it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So 3 p.m. Okay. So let's see if we have any meetings scheduled. Doesn't look like we have any meetings. So assigned measures. I'm going to go here. And so it looks like everything that's been assigned. There was another bill that was, I believe it was 29. There was another bill that was assigned that is actually not a bad bill. And maybe I'll focus on that once I find it. But there was a gun bill that I think Virgil Osborne was a part of that also was assigned, which was a good thing. So let me find that. And so it's just where we just got to get involved, right? And so I'm looking for 3075. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. So I can't register to testify or anything like that. So it is scheduled events. Okay. So this just came across my desk. So that's where I'm just still trying to figure out, where we're at. Well, looks like it's been assigned, but there's been no movement since it was assigned. Okay. So this is the first step. Okay. So, that's a good thing for us. So, if you don't know how to use OLIS, this is it's kind of hard to maneuver, but you can do a lot of things on this website. And I probably wouldn't, I don't have time to do this today, but like from House Bill 3075, you can read, the actual verbiage of the bill. So you can read, it's about 34 pages and it's all right here. And so just something to think about. Everything is going to be right here. And so, that's where, if you're interested in seeing and seeing what I see when I'm talking about signing up for the email, this is the email right here. So it's the e-subscribe function. Okay. So this is where I would go on any bill that I want to track. And so what you do is you go here up. It's not going to show me because I switched screens on you, but this is where I would go. I click on there, and that's where I would enter my email address. And so if there's any movement with this bill, it's going to send me, that's how I get this information I gave to you today right now, is it sent me an alert, and it got assigned to a committee, and that's why I'm here. So that's how you do it. You basically, there's about 29 anti-gun bills this year, 29 gun bills. You could go through there. You can actually do the e-subscribe. I did that for the ones that I'm interested in following. And so, I think what's kind of funny is like the fiscal impact, okay, may have fiscal impact, but no statement issued yet. Okay. If we're talking Measure 114, that first year, and that was back in 2022 when they're trying to ram this thing through, the initial first year, it was going to be $50 million to cost the state to implement Measure 114. And they had an estimate of, once it was up and running, it was going to be $42 million a year that it was going to cost for them to implement Measure 114. So there's no way this is not going to go to Ways and Means, because there is a substantial impact to the state budget when it comes to House Bill 3075. So just be aware. So, I'm going to stop my screen share, and thank you for that. And let me go back to here, see where we're at. Absolutely. So, Matt, 100%, we need to quit being and passive. And this is where we go on the offensive, right? We do our part. And so we do our part, and we write and we call and we make our voices be heard. We show up. Some of these people are your representatives. See if you can get an appointment with them. It's still in the beginning of the session. Obviously they should be able to make some time for you, and either see if you can get a phone call with them, or see if you can go up in person and meet with them and talk, and let's start getting the practice in on being an advocate, right? And that means we might have to miss a day of work. I totally get it. Nobody wants to miss a day of work, but the only way they're going to see that this thing matters to us as Oregon gun owners is if they hear from us or they see us. Okay. That's the only way. Okay. The other side does a really, really great job of, rallying their base, because they believe the same tired talking points. They have the email blasts that go out that they believe like they're the gospel. They believe that by doing this new enforcement or this new enforceable law, that it's going to make a difference. And they believe the hype. Us as gun owners, we're all individual, liberal, liberty minded people. And so, we don't work well with others, and we definitely do not, work well with the crowd. And so we're trying to bring this all together. Like, hey, this is how we do it. We take a page from their playbook, and we show up, we write, we call, and we do whatever we can to be a part of this process. And, while I respect the sentiment grave, like here taking up arms, like, what does that look like? Like, I don't like, have you thought about that? And, I feel a lot of it is because we can say it on a platform, and we can say it from the privacy of our home or wherever we're at. But we're not going to say it to one of our elected officials. And so that's kind of one of my biggest frustrations is, while I understand the sentiment, right, of the R word, and I'm going to use the R word just because I don't want to get flagged by social media, is like, I get it and I understand it, but like, do we know what that really means? And we can look at the history, right? Do we remember, April 19th of 1775, right? Do we remember that? And we weren't here, but do you guys understand what that was at that time, that moment in time, I guess. And I think that if we were smarter and we worked together and we changed our thought process and actually did things, we maybe move the needle the way we need to move. Absolutely, Jason. I can do something like that. Okay. Absolutely. And I appreciate you being here, and we could put up a little, like, these are the bullet points, right? And all you have to do is copy and paste these little bullet points, right? And then you could put all your other stuff around them. Okay. So I can do that for you really, really simple. Okay. What I can do is I can put together like 4 or 5 basic bullet points. Okay. And what you can do is you can copy and paste them, put them in your email, go to, and I'll put the link in there. Right. And I'll try to make it as easy as I can. If you guys can, yeah, thank you, Dwayne. And say hi to Virgil. Tell him thank you for the work that he's doing. He's got a bill that, and so one thing I want to keep on your radar is and Virgil, I believe David Brock Smith is part of it as well. Is And let me find that bill real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me get the number. And okay, so this one right here. Okay, let me open it up on my phone. Give me 1 second. And so this one was Osborne, so one of the what like so he's one of the sponsors, right? So we have Breeze, Iverson, Osborne, Senator Nash. So this one basically says, and this is House Bill 2396. Okay, this is one to follow. Okay, yeah, thanks, Dwayne, for tuning in. And this one is one to follow. This is one to support. Okay, so as much as we're fighting this one with 3075, this is one that we can send support. Like if and let's say we don't live in Virgil's district. Okay, let's say I'm just using a number for a hypothetical situation. Okay, because I don't have everything pulled up because I use both my screens trying to do this video. Okay, what we can do, right, is we can email our reps and say that we're in support of House Bill 2396. Okay, this one basically says provides that a person is automatically qualified to obtain a permit to purchase if a as a firearm if the person has a valid concealed handgun license. Okay, so basically what they're doing is they're trying to nullify the permit to purchase requirement through this bill of the HB 3075 by um, proposing basically that way we don't have to have two permits. Okay, that's kind of where I'm getting at. I haven't read the whole bill yet, but just from I did sign up an alert for this bill. This one did get assigned um, into the Judiciary Committee as well as part of that little packet. So this is a good one. This is the one that we want to support. And so if we're going to email, we could do a couple things, right? So we could do 2 emails, right, to the Judiciary Committee, right? And we could say HB 3075, we do not support this and do not recommend this. And this is a bad bill for Oregon. This is why. But we can also say another email, House Bill 2396, and we could say that we support this bill and this is a great bill and this is why. Okay. And one thing I want to be specific here is I'm not looking at this as a compromise. Okay. That's where I don't want to think that I'm giving away the house because I'm supporting something. Maybe I need to reevaluate. Let me think on my thoughts on that because obviously it is an offensive maneuver in this situation. But do I need to have a CHL to? I don't know. I still think it's a good move. I need to do some research on it before I have an official opinion on it. Ultimately, I would love all gun bills to die. That's what I would love. But in reality, if I get to pick and choose which one is gonna be the worst for me, I guess. And so that's where I need to do the research. I'm so focused on House Bill 3075 that I need to do more research on 2396. Okay. But I am hopeful because of the people that are behind it that this might be a better move. So don't quote me on it. Don't hold me to it. But I'm in the fact finding part of this, as all of us are. So just something to think about. I just think that I like the way that Virgil Osborne is forward thinking and thinking about his constituents, but he's also thinking about Oregon gun owners. So, yeah, something to think about. So there's lots to think about. So other than that, I just want to give you that update. That's kind of where we're at. I do have this on my YouTube channel. So if there's people that need to see this information outside of the group, I will put the link there so you guys can share it. I will put together a template for House Bill 3075 with some bullet points that you guys can follow, copy and paste them, put them in the body of your email, and then put the title HB 3075. Send it to the person on the Judiciary Committee. Be very professional, but be very, very firm. say, we're still in appeals. We do not need to direct resources away from other parts of the state to basically push something that could be potentially unconstitutional. So that's where I would go. So I hope this helps. It's not time to panic. It's time to get involved and be a part of the process. So that's all I can say. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Happy Friday. Hope you guys have a good weekend. If you have some time on the couch, do some research, and send these emails, do your part and get in the process, right? Get in the habit that when there's work to do, we clock in and do the work. And it won't take a lot. I try to make it as easy as I can on you because I want it easy on myself as well. But we just all need to do it, and I can't stress that enough, you know. One thing we will remember last session is they were surprised how much of us were doing what we were doing back then. Okay. So, they were not used to that. And so I'll chalk that up as a victory is we were starting to turn the tide, so, that's kind of where I'm at. Thank you, Frankie. Thanks for being here. I'll keep you guys posted and, please, please, please do your part. It takes a group effort to do this stuff, and everybody, FFL should be talking to our customers about House Bill 3075. Literally your livelihood is on the line. Okay. There's a chance that if this does go into effect, it could force you out of business. Okay. Magazine capacity, that's a bad thing for all of us. Okay. None of us want to be criminals because of, a detachable base plate, and that's still in the verbiage. Okay. On House Bill 3075. Okay. So just be aware. So, that's the things that we have kind of at stake right now. So talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, talk to your family, let them know this is the beginning stages of this, and we have to be a part of this process. Okay. Send emails. If there's forums out there, get on a forum, let people know what's happening, talk about it, make it, be vocal, and, we lose when we're silent, and that's what they're banking on. They're banking on us being at work, not showing up. And that's when they say, oh, it must not matter to them because they didn't do the work. And that's where they justify doing what they do. So we can't let that happen. So I'm done with the lecture. I apologize for it. I just trying to, sound the alarm. So, all right, I will do my work. You do your work, and we will touch base soon. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.